Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 59 of Awakening to Ascension. I am your host today, Janae, and I'm joined with Marlene and Alex. And today's topic is the role of discipline in spiritual growth. And I'd like to just say that if you have any stories to share with us, we are so grateful to receive them. And if you have any techniques and practices that you have incorporated into your own journey, please share, because this is a co-creation and collaboration space, and it is a community for us to all share our own experiences as separate journeys and allow us all to experience it together. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into the topic. And this one speaks to my heart. This one speaks to my heart. And I'm so excited to just divulge into this. I'd like to just begin with regards to how many decisions a human being has to make on a daily basis. So we have 35,000 decisions we make on a daily basis. I bet you didn't know that. Now, if we try to eliminate 90% of those decisions, we then make space and we make room to increase our frequency and our vibration and allow ourselves to truly step into our ultimate power. So if we look at really, really successful individuals, so I'm going to name a couple of people here. I'm not favoring anybody. I'm just naming people that you would know. So we look at people such as Steve Jobs. We look at people such as Simon Cowell. We look at people such as Elon Musk. These individuals all wear jeans and a t-shirt. They have eliminated the decision to stand in front of their closet and be like, oh man, what am I going to wear today? Now that takes energy and time. So when we speak of these daily practices, you really have to divulge deep into this topic because it is such an important one. And by eliminating decisions that are unnecessary, it allows and frees up time in order for you to initiate and incorporate practices that are going to increase and make you step into the highest possible being that you are here to embody. So I'm going to pass it over to Marlene, and I'll see you shortly.
Thank you for that, Shanae. So spiritual growth is very difficult to achieve if we are constantly living in the next moment. Basically, the goal is to anchor yourself in the moment of now. So instead of then scrolling on your phone and actually getting lost in all of that, the moment you wake up, take 3 minutes in the morning for yourself to notice your breath and to notice perhaps the light in the room where you are lying. Bring yourself into that moment of now to protect the time as if it were the most important business decision that you were actually making in that moment. And also then becoming the inner observer, the witness of everything that you do and everything that you think. Because if you look at your reactions rather than just reacting, it honestly puts you in a different dimension of spiritual growth when you can do that. And the gap between the event and your response then becomes so much more mindful for yourself. The other thing that we can do is to really take a little bit of time for ourselves in whatever it is that we brings us back into the cultural moment, because getting to that spiritual practice honestly means that we have to give ourselves priority. Because the more that we give the outside the priority, the more we are drained of our own time. And that then does not speak to spiritual discipline. It speaks to becoming more selfish for yourself, but yet that selflessness pays off by actually transforming your inner life so much better, so much quicker. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Alex.
Thank you, Marlene. Yeah, I would like to touch on what Janae was saying about the decisions that we have to make and how we can create space by creating a routine. So it takes discipline to get yourself into a routine, but once you're in that routine, then it doesn't really take that much discipline anymore because it's become a habit. And once you can get into these good habits, then you can just free so much more of your time to do what you want to do as far as raising your vibration or helping others, whatever the case is. But with discipline, I want to point out, and this might be a little contradictory, because in the spiritual realm, a form of self-discipline can also be self-care and to take a break. Because we always want to push forward, we always want to reach that next level, but being able to see if we're heading towards burnout. Now, there's a difference between like, oh, I feel like I'm getting burnt out, I'm just going to take 3 days off, or like, I really need to take 3 days off, or a day off, or whatever it is, and being able to recognize what place you're at. Like, am I getting towards burnout? Because if you push and you keep going and you hit that burnout, you're no use to anybody. You're no use to anybody. Yes, Janae.
Alex, burnout is a real thing, and it's a very serious thing, specifically in the spirituality aspect of it, because the discipline can be so intense that we feel that we have to do our practices and we have to be this specific being. And I speak as of now with regards to that burnout. So my symptoms show physically on my body. So at the moment, I mean, days ago, I like experienced sores in my mouth and I have a cold sore. So my body is speaking to me and telling me, can you please slow down? And I say this because I was pulling all-nighters 2, 3 times a week. So I was going. I wasn't sleeping. I was having 2-hour naps. And I was doing this for a long time. I was physically exerting my body to the point of like I would, yeah, it was not, we'd say unhealthy, but it wasn't a matter of me choosing it either. So I was doing so because there were certain things that I felt I had to do, and there's some aspects we control and there isn't. So with that being said, I chose to take a break. I didn't do anything. I slept. I lay down. I had a nap the other day for 3 hours. It was fantastic. So the discipline is something that we do practice, but there is also just we have to see it very clearly when we have done too much. And I also just wanted to touch on the routine of discipline. If you wake up with a routine, so Marlene mentioned, take 3 minutes. Take 3 minutes before you start the day. And it's so vital because we are coming out of a deep sleep state, our delta. And between delta, we have theta. And theta is the most vital that you are in. It's the bridge between the deep sleep and the the awakening. So it's that period of time just before you wake up and just before you sleep. Now, those periods are so important. So your routine before you go to bed and your routine when you wake up is discipline to your spiritual growth. So if you choose, so I have clients that I do coach, and one specific client I said to them this week, you need to remember that these practices are very new to you. So you can't now go and jump into a 15-minute meditation when you have never done something like that before, start with 5 minutes. All it takes is 5 minutes. So in the morning, close your eyes. You can either do a meditation, you can do a pranayama where you're just consciously taking deep breaths in and out. And it's the same when you go to bed. A prayer is also so powerful because we are giving thanks and gratitude to whoever you worship. So I wanted to add that in, and I'm going to hand it to Alex.
Thank you, Janae. Yeah, I wanted to touch on as well as so spiritual discipline is a little bit different than discipline. I mean, you can have discipline spiritually, but like regular discipline, it's like, making sure you wake up on time, getting to the gym, eating right, taking care of your person. But spiritual discipline, I liken it to the book of Job from the Bible, right? Where like this dude just gets tested over and over and over and over again. And every time he has a choice to make. It's like, do I want to remain in gratitude and love and appreciation? And that's what happens to us throughout our lives is that you're going to go throughout your day, you're going to have an opportunity to either be mean to somebody, react, retaliate, and being able to hold on to spiritual discipline is no matter what happens, respond to that person with understanding, forgiveness, love, and being able to maintain that discipline on top of all the other disciplines that we keep track of. So it's essentially like the next level up. I mean, it's one thing to learn to live in the 3D, but to be able to balance and manage the 3D and live in the 4D, 5D at the same time, that's what ascension is. That's why we're spiritually evolved. That's where the collective consciousness of humanity is going. So I'd say you probably want to be on the front side of this train. Yes, Marlene.
Okay, so I would like to add that as part of those 35,000 decisions that we make every day, I believe wholeheartedly that the one word is prioritization. To prioritize your spiritual discipline and for who you are is of utmost importance. So, what would that entail? It would entail becoming very mindful of what you are giving your energy to and how it actually makes you feel. Because in each thought, in each process that we engage, we are giving away energy. And if we are to be disciplined spiritually, it's about conserving ourselves and holding our focus more on what it is that we are wanting to achieve, and not only just for us, but for the highest and the greatest consciousness and the good of all humanity. So the more that we get sucked into the egoic state, the less we're going to have time for our spiritual disciplines. And yes, it takes time and energy, and it takes courage to stick to a discipline and to give it each and every moment of conscious, honest practice. So that for me is truly important as well.
Thanks, Marlene. I, when I started with the podcast, I said that this really like speaks to my heart because this is why I birthed Soul Spark 1111. This is the very essence of what it is. And it is a daily discipline. And it's not just a daily discipline for yourself. It's showing up for you and the collective. So when you show up every day, you're not only increasing your frequency, but what we're doing is we're increasing the collective's frequency. And what Daily Sparks is all about is it's 6 various creators doing various practices and various modalities, be it pranayama, be it meditation, be it tapping, be it movement, qigong, tai chi, yoga, just morning mobility, stretching. There is a bunch of various practices. There's even affirmations, there's praise. And what it's doing is I culminate 6 of these creators specifically aligning to the earth's rhythms as well as our what we're aligning with the earth, and how that is going to transpire as a collective. We are all going to be vibrating on the same frequency. And those that are practicing the sparks, I have a close community at the moment, and we all feel that if we don't do the spark, something's a little bit out of alignment. And when we do the spark, oh my gosh, we're so connected, we're so aligned, we're so with it, we're like on top of our game. And that's why it speaks so close to me, because again, this discipline, it's not something that you just do for a little bit. It's something that you also do the days that you don't feel like doing it sometimes. But then there's also this kindness that Alex spoke of, the self-care, the self-love, where the days that you cannot do it, because yes, my goodness, these days where it's just like pew, 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 pew. And that, like, it's okay. Those are the days where we're kind to ourselves and we just hold the frequency and we acknowledge consciously, okay, I cannot do my practice today. I love myself wholeheartedly, but I know that I am conscious and I am love and I am grateful, and I continue with my day, because you've practiced enough that you're able to sit with that. So if there is a situation that comes at you on those days, you are able to just calmly react and just, I know what I am and I know who I am, and I don't need this. So I'm peacefully just going to say namaste to you and I'm going to walk away. So it's just, honestly, if you do want to get in on the soul sparks, please go to my personal YouTube. I physically am doing the practices every single day. I choose 1, 2, or 3 that I do, and I do it with you so that you feel I'm showing up, I'm doing it, you're doing it, we're doing it, and it's great. And I share it on my personal accounts where I put the links. I have, just it's my gift. And I'm just so passionate about it. So thank you. Thank you for this topic. And I'd also like to just add before we wrap up that this is a lifestyle. Once you have gotten to the point where you've integrated this into your life, and it is such a daily habitual thing, it becomes a lifestyle. So that's essentially what you are aiming to get to, is to have these practices incorporated into your daily routine, and you fit them in however you fit them in, and life is grand. Life is great.
Thank you so much, Janae. Yeah, I would definitely encourage everyone to check out her channel. She does amazing practices. Every time I do one with her, I get full body chills. I feel like I resonate so deeply with it. And I'll just wrap up with this. Something remarkable happens alongside being able to maintain consistent discipline with yourself. You generate this new sense of self-esteem because you just stuck with something that wasn't easy to do and you pushed through and made yourself do it. And remember, it takes 21 days to create a habit. So you get through those 21 days, it's smooth sailing from there. And with that, I would like to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, drop anything in the comments if you want to contribute, and we'll see you next time.